So welcome, Sebastian Stubbe. Would you like to introduce yourself to our guests at the Global Investment Immigration Summit today?
Yeah, my pleasure to be here. So I'm Sebastian Stubbe. I'm the CEO of a company called Pine State Regional Center, and we're actually part of a broader company called Arkansas Capital Corporation. Our company is a 60-year-old economic development corporation. It was actually founded by the Rockefeller family in the 1950s, and we are a nonprofit. Our entire focus is on creating jobs and creating economic activity in the southern part of the United States.
Wonderful. So there are some exciting projects on offer through the EB5 program. How should an investor proceed to ascertain which projects to invest in?
Well, I think there's a lot to look for. I mean, I think that as an aside, I personally am a green card holder. I'm actually originally from Europe, but came to the US for my education, and I got a green card and still have my green card many years later. I'm a big fan of the program. I think the green card is a very flexible tool and really provides tremendous opportunity for the holder. And to get the green card, I do believe EB5 today is the best way, the smoothest way. But of course, you need to find a good project, ideally with a good regional center behind it. So I think that starting with finding a very good immigration attorney to give you the best chance of being approved, and then seeking a regional center who will be with you step by step for the 4 or 5 or more years that this might take, I think is key.
Wonderful. Can you tell us about your project and the program that you're promoting?
Sure. So again, Pine State is focused in the state of Arkansas, and we have a project right now called Big River Steel. It's a fairly unique project in the EB5 space. It's a manufacturing facility, and it's a very high-profile project. It has kind of a who's who of equity investors in it. It's the largest private investment in the history of the state of Arkansas. And it is complete. So a unique feature of this is that the developer used bridge equity, which is a process that the USCIS has vetted and approved, whereby the owners of the project, who in this case are Koch Industries, which is the world's largest private company, a very conservative and astute, sophisticated investment group, together with Texas Pacific Group, which is a private equity firm, a very well-known and large one, and one of Warren Buffett's main subsidiaries, plus the Arkansas Teachers Pension Fund, which is the largest pension plan in Arkansas, together invested in the equity. And then through this so-called bridge equity, they were able to lend additional capital into the project before we started raising EB5, and to start construction and job creation. And as you know, EB5 is all about job creation. An EB5 investor in our project today gets credit and benefit of the jobs that were created from the beginning with that bridge equity. So we have actually already created all the jobs that are necessary. In fact, about 2.5 times the jobs that are necessary. So for our EB5 raise, our project needed to create 4,000 jobs, and today it's already created 10,000 jobs. The project itself is the world's most advanced steel plant. It's a steel recycling facility using very advanced technology and doing very, very cool things in the state of Arkansas.
That's great to hear. So we know that there is up to 15 years backlog from China and India, and that's soon to be hit, retrogression. Are you guys a victim of your own success?
Well, I do think that obviously certain countries have taken to the EB5 program people who are particularly focused on education for their children. That tends to be a primary driver, and certainly China has had a lot of interest. And now, as you mentioned, India, Vietnam, Brazil, a couple of other countries are either already in retrogression or closing in on retrogression. So to an extent, that is a sign of success. I think there are a variety of solutions being discussed right now, both in Congress, so potential legislative changes, or what's called regulatory changes via the USCIS to either mitigate or fix the retrogression situation. But in doing so, they're also talking, as you may know, about price increases and a variety of other reforms to kind of strengthen the industry and improve kind of fraud prevention and so forth and oversight, all of which I think are very good moves ultimately. But I think an investor today is well suited, if they really are interested in doing this, to move rather quickly, because getting an early priority date at a time when price increases are on the horizon and other potential fixes for the retrogression, I think if you are serious about doing it, there's really no good reason to hold off on moving forward.
Makes sense. So what is your current approval rate for the I-526, and has anyone been declined?
So in our case, we have 100% I-526 approval so far, and none of our applicants have been declined or denied. None of our I-526 applicants have received requests for evidence either. So it's been a very smooth process so far. Our project got its 924 approval without an RFE as well, and again has been very well vetted by a variety of legal firms, and so we're very happy about that.
Great. What is the best way to invest through the EB5 program? Real estate, franchises, existing businesses that need investment, or startup businesses, or something else?
Look, we have a manufacturing facility in a rural area. There are lots of good projects in EB5, and there are good projects and less quality projects in cities, in the rural space, in the infrastructure space. So it really comes down to a case-by-case situation. I would tell an investor that they should focus on first and foremost the track record of the regional center. You can invest in EB5 without using a regional center, but I think the benefits of working with a regional center that has a good track record, who is there to kind of help you along the way, to oversee the process, make sure you get your money back at the end, outweigh the benefits of going directly. It also tends to be easier to meet the job requirement if you work through a regional center. So finding a good regional center that you're comfortable with, to me, is very important. And subsequently, again, it's a case-by-case situation. If you can find a project that has already raised some or all of the money so that they can start the project, that will lessen your completion risk. If you can find a project that has already created some or all of the jobs, that will lessen your risk of somehow losing your 829 application and thereby having to give back the green card. Those are risks that you can avoid. Again, in our case, Big River Steel is fully capitalized, is now fully completed, and all the jobs that are necessary were already created. So those risks are removed from the process, and I think that way an investor can provide themselves a much smoother path.
Sure. And finally, who does an EB5 investor approach firstly to learn more about the program? A lawyer, a broker, or a dealer, an agent, a developer, or a regional center? What advice would you give the investor?
Sure. Well, to the extent that they have the ability to go to an event like this, where they can inform themselves by talking to lots of people, that will probably be a good way to start. If they don't have access to a good conference, I would probably start with a good immigration law firm. There are lots of lawyers in this space, but there are some that are particularly good. And they, in turn, will, in all likelihood, have worked with a wide range of projects. They are unlikely to recommend specific projects, but they might offer you kind of a list of, here are 4 or 5 or 6 projects on which we have done good due diligence and we would be comfortable, so take a look at all of these. That's a great way to take a step in. If you have the ability to meet regional centers directly, that of course is great too. You've got to, I would recommend, the same way as I would for any decision you make in life, to get more than one opinion. In other words, go and meet with more than one regional center and probably more than one immigration attorney as well. Find one that you're comfortable with. This is a process, even if you come from a country that has no retrogression, this is a process that takes 4 or 5 years. So you're going to be with someone for some time. And so you obviously want to have a real sense of comfort there.
Sebastian, Stubbe, thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure.